Shinra attacked us.
Save your strength.
I got some help. From him. Over there.
It's you. Director! Thank you.
Man, the final chapter of this game is heavy, as expected.
Okay, let's eat. Sorry I'm not the real thing, but...
Is it good?
Yeah.
The gift of the goddess.
This apple? Huh?
And Gio. The dream came true.
How are you? I wish I knew where you were. It's already been 4 years now. This is the 89th letter that I've sent to you, but I don't even know where to send them anymore. I really hope that this final letter that I'm writing gets to you. By the way, the flowers are selling very well. They make everyone so happy. Thanks to you, Zach. Aerith.
Wow, 4 years.
4 years? What do you mean, final? Aerith, wait for me. You're gonna make it too. You got that?
This must be an important matter if they are sending the two of us.
Apparently the subject will become our brother.
Is that so? But
accept his fate willingly.
Even if the morrow is barren of promises, nothing shall forestall my return. To become the dew that quenches the land, to spare the sands, the seas, the skies, I offer thee this silent sacrifice.
Wow, the final act.
Cisne! The army's mobilizing. Find the targets before they do.
Understood. The army won't be as subtle.
I want them alive. You hear me? You're going to save Zach's life.
Of course. I haven't even told him my real name.
Help them. Cisne, I have letters for Zach. 88 of them.
I'm just kidding. You know I wouldn't do that to you. We're friends, right?
Oh boy.
They can't be serious. There's no way we're gonna find 2 needles in a haystack this size.
There's no mission that's impossible for the
Turks, yeah.
Also, Sung apparently has something to give him.
Who? The target? So we're couriers now. Delivering packages to fugitives, huh? We got nothing.
You?
Likewise. I'm heading to point 235. You two take point 120.
Roger.
All right, let's get going.
Boy, oh boy. The price of freedom is steep. Embrace your dreams. And, whatever happens, protect your honor
badass soldier! Come and get it!
Activating combat mode.
Whoa, we actually played this bit? Holy shit. I was not ready for that. I was sitting back like ready to watch a cutscene. Oh my god. Wow, you actually get to play this section. It's super cool. Obviously a good place to aerial drain here. But I'm assuming I could probably just do this for the entire thing.
I'm Cisne. Here's a present.
Some of the journalists, where's MJ? Ready to go. I understand now why Sephiroth chose you.
Yes.
For
So
real.
get away safely. Zach, I gotta go.
Ooh, here we go. So they're kind of disappear. That's interesting. What, reduce 10,000 damage? What? That's nonsense. But yeah, I think honestly spamming this is probably the safest way to beat these guys. Are we gonna get anything here from the DMW? I mean, I've defeated 1,000 troops in a mission, man. These guys ain't shit. These guys ain't shit. But that 10,000 damage dealing one just keeps hitting me somehow. Some shitty little timing there. Yeah, you see it hit me again. Let's just see how long I can survive here. I don't know if it's one of these where you're basically kind of forced to die at the end of it, in terms of the gameplay, or will they let you defeat enough troops to see what's going to happen next without it being scripted? I'm not sure. It's like, it seems they're never going to stop. Just embracing our dreams, man. I have, of course, seen the intro to that cutscene, and Zack's kind of "the price of freedom is steep." It's so iconic. But obviously, having the context of actually playing the game makes it so much better. Gave me goosebumps. If I was to actually get some limit breaks, I'd be able to have maybe more HP than 21,000. But I think it's a percentage, whatever those things are. Yeah, I just can't avoid them consistently. I also don't know if you just stay in the battle long enough for something to happen with the DMW and you just get lucky. And then that's how you can finish it off. Unsure. I'll keep going as long as I can. I'm just going to give up and die here. Oh, there you go. They kept me on 1 HP for a while there, though. Did you guys notice that? So it was kind of the opposite. I was scripted to stay alive there.
News brings about where
I'm a country boy
I
too.
can be pretty cheap.
If only I were a soldier.
Honor can be
I really
quite
like
a
that
burden.
sword. Thanks.
A monster's
I
objective.
really like
join
that sword.
my
Nothing else out
Zach.
there. Hold on.
You have my thanks.
Hello?
Yeah, everything in the DMW is just disappearing. Aerith remains. So we're just gonna keep hanging in there here. Here we go.
Activating combat mode.
Wow, the final 3. They're really making you play through this whole thing, man. Sheesh. Damn. This is horrible, man. This is horrible. No. Damn.
Hello? Don't worry. That's right. But wanna hear? Not scary
Work
at all.
stuff?
Will I see you again? I'll be here.
Wow. Oh man, this is the end.
Zach. For the both of us. Both of us? That's right. You're gonna live. You'll be my living legacy. My honor, my dreams. They're yours now. I'm your living legacy.
Shit, man.
Embrace your dreams. If you want to be a hero, you need to have dreams.
Thank you. I won't forget. Good night. Zach.
That girl. She said that the sky frightened her. But it must feel so good up there. Those wings. I want them too. It does feel good. If you see Aerith, say hi for me. Hey, would you say I became a hero.
Man, that ending is horrible. In like a kind of good way. Final Fantasy VII story never really pulled its punches, man. It's one of these endings I knew years before I played what happens in this ending, but seeing it for the first time definitely hit hard, man. It's horrible. But there we go. The ending of Zack's story and the beginning of Cloud's. I mean, this game really did help put so many more things into perspective and see like the origin story of Cloud and why things are the way they are in the main Final Fantasy VII game. And it really sets things up nicely for 7 Remake Part 2. Wow. Oh, that ending was hard, man. That really was hard. Sheesh. Let's see if there's going to be a scene here. These credits seem pretty short, so let's see what else we got. No, okay, starting with this one. Okay, so I guess I can do a mini kind of reactionary thing here before we try to finish off some more things, but yeah, that ending was completely brutal. Really well kind of choreographed. Just like the way they did it, they integrated the kind of gameplay into it and all that kind of stuff, and just that sort of passing of the torch from Zack to Cloud, and the way that everything so far in that story kind of helped to piece together Cloud's kind of genesis, for lack of a better word. It really did help, and it was really cool to play that part of the story, and despite the sad emotional ending, it was definitely really cool. And you can see why anyone who's played this game, Zack is such an iconic character. And just like everything to do with that whole aspect of like Zack, he said like, you know, why is everyone pushing things onto me constantly? And the fact that Zack had this dream of just becoming a hero, and that's what he wanted, and so much of his life was just to do with, you know, doing other people's bidding and never truly being free from his kind of, from his origin and from his destiny. And so that was just really interesting to watch and to play as throughout that story. And it's funny how his legacy of not having that freedom was basically passed on to Cloud, because we saw obviously what happened to Cloud as a result of being captured and Hojo's experiments and all that kind of stuff. And then as he was sort of starting to regain his consciousness and his mind, he wakes up in a soldier uniform, gets given the Buster Sword, and Zack tells him that he's his living legacy and my dreams are yours now. And so it sounds really emotional and kind of poetic when you see it as a cutscene. But then you think like Cloud, again, well, based on what happens later on as well, Cloud doesn't have his own freedom either during the story of Final Fantasy VII for like a huge portion of it. So it's a legacy of kind of not having your freedom and kind of dreaming of it in a way. So I don't know, I felt it was really, really interesting. And the characters that we got in this story, I've been curious about them for a very long time. Genesis, Angeal, and Sephiroth, that sort of trio. And of course Zack have always intrigued me a lot, and getting to see them was definitely cool. I'm actually curious about what even happens to Cissnei at the end of this. I thought maybe we were going to get a little bit more going on there, where Cissnei tries to help him, because you can obviously see Sung and Cissnei, they're trying to help keep Zack alive, and I thought there might be a little bit more of like an intervention there. It wouldn't go straight towards that final fight on like the cliff face, but that's where it went. So it's one of these where, again, I'm probably going to have to take a little bit of time to read what happened in the story between some of those bits, because there's so many different pieces to the entire story. There's like obviously the Advent Children part of the story, there's the main Final Fantasy VII, there's this, there's, I don't know, there's even like Dirge of Cerberus, there's the novellas that have been written. So there's just so much that putting it all together and connecting all of the dots is not always easy, especially while you're playing. Like then you had the whole bit with Genesis where he was still alive. I thought we killed Genesis there, but Genesis seems pretty impossible to kill in this game, and in this part of the story at least. And then he was taken away by, I think, Weiss, who you literally barely get to see anything from him, and he appears in the Yuffie DLC as well and stuff like that. So it's all kind of, there's a web of things going on here that you need to kind of put together, and I don't have that locked in my mind right now. But it was just definitely interesting to see the pieces, and of course the core story was definitely really cool to play through. So yeah, overall feeling about Crisis Core, I really did enjoy it. I would say for a PSP game, it's fantastic. Like, as a PSP game, this game is very similar to what people got. Okay, fine, it does have the enhanced gameplay and that kind of thing, and more voice acting and all that stuff. I would definitely give it that. But in my mind, it's still more of a PSP game than a console that was made and built originally for, let's say, the PS3 or the PS4, PS5 in the future. And if I view it like under that scope, it's an absolutely fantastic game. Really, really, really good. Obviously, if I'm trying to see it as like a, you know, late 2022 release on the PS5, remake based off a PSP game, yes, but it's released for a major console in the year 2022, then yeah, of course, there are bits where it shows signs of it being a PSP game, you know, the foundations coming from it. And so when I'm viewing it from that lens, it's not, like, it's still good, but it doesn't reach the heights it does when viewed as a PSP game. So that's why, like, my overall feeling is anyone who played the original PSP game and really loved it, and it became one of their favorite Final Fantasies of all time, like, yeah, okay, I can definitely, like, I wouldn't argue too hard with you on that. Like, it does have enough going for it that it could definitely be one of your favorite Final Fantasy experiences for sure. Playing it, like, today, I would say is still definitely good. Like, it's a solid, I would say, like, B+ tier, like 8 out of 10 level kind of Final Fantasy experience. I really do believe that. I would say the gameplay I really enjoyed, more so than I thought I would. And, you know, seeing how it is possible to do like a single player Final Fantasy where there are no party members, the amount of versatility that Zack had, I didn't really miss the fact that we didn't have party members. And so it's one of those things that leaves me in a bit of a, like, it puts me in a difficult position because I'm always preferring and wanting there to be party members. For me, Final Fantasy is a game where you have a party, like you have party members and you go on the journey together. For me, that's the quintessential Final Fantasy experience. And that doesn't mean every single Final Fantasy has to be that way, as you've seen from this game. But for like core numbered Final Fantasy titles, that's what I want to be seeing. So I still stand by that, but it's just nice to see that even if sometimes that isn't what happens in a Final Fantasy game, it can still be done well. And like, for example, Final Fantasy 13-3 Lightning Returns, I did feel the gameplay for that game was also good. And this one I enjoyed a lot as well, even more so I think gameplay-wise than 13-3. And so it's just nice that they are able to do that as well, and it does bode well for Final Fantasy 16, which is going to be, I don't think it's completely like no party members, but I think you get like guest party members appearing in the game. It's not 100% clear at this point, but it is going to be a bit more single kind of party member focused in terms of the combat. So if even for Crisis Core and the remake of Crisis Core they've managed to do this good a job, it has kind of given me a little bit more confidence that I'll still enjoy having a single party member experience, gameplay wise, mostly for Final Fantasy 16 too. So yeah, gameplay was excellent. I always really liked the Final Fantasy 7 remake gameplay, and I always said that was one of the strongest things, and it's my favorite modern adaptation of Final Fantasy gameplay that I've personally seen and played so far. And because this kind of seems to build off that, it does feel familiar and similar to Final Fantasy 7 remake. They've made some really nice tweaks, and I think in that sense it was really enjoyable. And well, because I still have more to do with the gameplay, that's something I'm going to continue to hopefully enjoy and experience, especially with the more difficult missions still to come. But as I've already mentioned, the story, I really enjoyed the story. It's not like amazingly written, and like, again, it shows signs of that sort of PSP kind of foundation. But in terms of like the coolness of the characters, like the sheer fundamental coolness of the characters that we have in this game, I think that really helps it hold up. And getting to see their stories and having the background knowledge of Final Fantasy VII, I think definitely helped a lot with that sort of stuff. So I think the core story was really good as well. Now, before I continue with any more, let's see what we got here. There's got to be one or two little more cutscenes here, or is it going to go straight to the credits? Okay. Oh, if they put in a trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake, basically like start playing 7 Remake now. I don't think this is from Crisis Core. Or is it? No, I think this is 7 Remake. It's definitely made me more hyped for 7 Remake Part 2, man, seriously. But yeah, now that I think of it, now that we're zoomed out a bit more, it does look like it could be an original Crisis Core scene. Just kind of setting you up for Final Fantasy VII.
My name is Cloud. Soldier. First class.
Yeah, to be continued in Final Fantasy VII. Awesome. So I want to see what they do here. Do we have a chapter select? Do we have like what is the story here? Thanks to you, Zach. Yeah, thankfully, if you're using obviously your PS4 to record data, then record the gameplay, then that wouldn't have worked. But we never have to deal with those, thankfully. Save clear data. If you load clear data, you can start a new game with certain data carried over. Sure. After finishing the game, you can start a new game with certain data carried over by loading the cleared game save data. Data that will be carried over: level, experience, SP, acquired guild, playtime, items, certain stage supply, material, equipment status, DMW progress, limit break, limit verge count, bus or proficiency, mail. Okay, cool. So we'll definitely do that. Level 49 cleared, by the way. Okay, so it hasn't taken us long to access the missions again. What happens here? Ah, okay. So this is why I have to basically go back and reload an old save. Like, this isn't what I need here. Let's return to title screen. So yeah, I have to reload my Chapter 10 final save and continue my missions from there. So basically, thanks to all the save datas I do have, I can kind of make my own chapter select kind of thing. So that's good. Portal of Severin. I think, yeah, this is the final one. So yeah, I'll say a final few words to finish off this kind of story episode, the final story episode, and then we'll continue with some extras in the next one. So where was I? Yeah, the story. Because I'm still giving a fairly general overview, I won't go too deep into it other than just what I've said so far. I have enjoyed it. It wasn't like I say, incredibly well written, and there were some points where some of the writing was obviously a bit clunky, and it wasn't always as easy to follow. There was a lot of kind of, this person, they're dead, they come back, this person comes back, they look like someone else, and of course the whole nature of like the experiments that's going on and the results of those, and like being able to have your DNA like infused into other beings, and then you've got Genesis constantly quoting Loveless, so all of that stuff did kind of at times blend together and like confuse me a little bit, and it was a little bit hard to follow exactly who was alive, who was dead, what was going on, who was still in the story, what were they up to. At times I did get a little bit like disconnected with that aspect, I'm not gonna lie, but I would say like overall the story does hold up well, and I did enjoy it. And the characters involved just also made it a real treat as well. So that stuff was good. I really enjoyed the music for the game. I really thought it was like a solid soundtrack, especially by Final Fantasy standards. It was one of the better ones I've heard. Definitely some good ones there. So I had a good time with that. And as I've been saying pretty much from the get-go, like I call them remaster makes these days, where it's like half remaster, half remake. This game, again, in that sense, is absolutely brilliant. For me, it's like top marks, man. For a PSP game that came out in like 2011 or something, I think they've done a really cracking job of making it look much better. It's not like 100% up to like today's standards, but it's not a million miles away, I think. Like there are times when you can just sort of get lost in the general kind of look and feel of the game and think that you're playing like a modern console game that was built for a console. Of course, you know, if you actually take time to look, it's very clear that it's not on the same level as even, say, Final Fantasy VII Remake, but that's more than to be expected. And given what they did end up producing here, I was very impressed with it. They could have been much, much lazier than they were. And the fact that it wasn't even just a facelift, that they had the gameplay tweaks and stuff in there as well. They took the time to redo the voice acting and ended up putting in voice acting for scenes that previously didn't have it. Stuff like that. It was a very high effort remaster, and so like in terms of value for money, I think it's definitely a good proposition as well. Sometimes they just kind of slap like a little bit of a new paint job on a game and try to charge you full price for a game that's been out for so long. But this game, I think it deserves to be pretty much a full price game. The amount of effort that's gone into it and how much they've transformed it from the original in porting it over to the modern consoles and PC, I think it's definitely is worth its asking price at release. And of course, if you found it too expensive, it's only going to get cheaper with time. So yeah, I mean, those are the general points I have for the game. I have enjoyed it a lot. At times it's absolutely brilliant, and at times it's kind of a bit more kind of mediocre. And there are definitely some kind of clunkier things here and there, like little bits of writing, some of the way that the conversations flow, the sheer amount of missions that they've had to put in to kind of pad this thing out to be like a 40-50 hour experience if you try to do everything. I'm not sure I agree with that kind of implementation, but I think overall I would say it's definitely a strong entry into the series, and considering the fact that it was like a prequel made for a small handheld console all those years ago, I think it's held up well, and I definitely enjoyed my time, and I'm really glad I got to play it. Once again, a big shout out to Square Enix for sending this before release. It came at a really good time when 2022 was a bit of a poor year for the channel, I have to say, without going too much into it. But Crisis Core helped give me a strong finish, and they've always been very supportive of the channel and the content that I make. So they always have my appreciation for that, and they just send me the game sometimes before release like this one, and I always have the freedom to kind of just play it how I want and say whatever I want about the game. I'm not obligated to kind of say or do anything in particular, just to make sure that I declare that I did get the game from Square Enix, just so that people know that. But other than that, I'm always free to kind of just review it and play it as I please, and so always appreciate that kind of freedom as well, because, you know, as we know, the price of freedom is steep. So yeah, that's my general kind of overview of the game. I would say all in probably about 8 out of 10, I would say. For a PSP game though, like a 9.5 out of 10, I would say. And for like a PS5 kind of, if you're trying to compare it to its contemporaries, then maybe more like a 7.5 range. And well, because it's closer to that than the PSP game at this stage, I would still go with something around an 8 out of 10, which is strong for sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Thank you all so much for the support so far, especially like part 1, the early parts, and the general feedback has been really nice, and it's been great to kind of share a new, quote-unquote, new release with you guys, because it has been a while for the Final Fantasy space. So 2023 is going to be a big year. We've got Final Fantasy 16 to come in the summertime, June the 22nd, I think it is, and then of course Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, which is basically Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. Now, they said winter 2023, but if I were a betting man, I would bet on more like spring or like February 2024. But that still means it's not that far away. So there is going to be a lot of really cool content coming Final Fantasy-wise on the channel, not to mention everything that's already going on with like the Final Fantasy X Auto Battle Challenge and those kind of things. I'll be doing more things like that as like hopefully a staple on the channel as well. So Final Fantasy fans, there's going to be a lot to enjoy. 2022 wasn't that big a year for Final Fantasy. It was one of the least kind of Final Fantasy-centric years I've had on the channel in a very long time. But this year we're coming back with a bang, and there's going to be lots of Final Fantasy content for you guys to enjoy. So that's all I have for now. I will wrap up this episode and the story portion of Final Fantasy Crisis Core. And from the next part onwards, I will first focus on completing all of the missions that I haven't at this point. And then once I've done that, I'll see which trophies are left and how I can get them, and probably turn this into a platinum run for you guys if it's possible. Thank you all for watching once again, and I hope you enjoyed seeing Zack's story despite that cruel and emotional ending that he had to have. See you in the next one. Take care.